What is up, everyone, and welcome to another edition of The Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. And I would like to thank all of you for joining me on this video. I meant to do this earlier, but I didn't. I kind of forgot. Sorry about that. But I had an idea. And since WWE over the past 2 days has been in the city of St. Louis, Missouri, I thought to myself, why don't I get prepared and do a top 10 countdown on some of the best matches, in my opinion, to have taken place in RKO Capital? So let's get started. We're going to start off at number 10 with last night's match between Tony D'Angelo and Oba Femi. Now, as I said in my review yesterday, I was really expecting Oba Femi to win because he has just been that great in NXT. But nonetheless, Tony D'Angelo, with a roll up, found a way to win and become the NXT North American Champion, men's version. And it was not without a competitive fight. Nonetheless, a great match on NXT last night. And like I said about Oba Femi, he is the future. And eventually he will be NXT champion. And if fate treats him well, he'll be champion on the main roster at some point, whether it's the World Heavyweight or the WWE Championship. We'll see what happens. Moving forward, congratulations last night to Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT. Next on this list at number 9, we go to the Women's Royal Rumble match in 2022. I really enjoyed this one. This one had some of the best of the present, the past, and the future. Zelina was in the match. We saw Sasha Banks, now known as Mercedes Moné, and Melina, who did not get treated well. She was eliminated far too early, in my personal opinion. We saw Zelina, we saw Bianca, Charlotte, we saw Lita, Mickie James, who was actually TNA champion at the time, women's champion at the time. We saw the return of Ronda Rousey, and she got an amazing ovation. She would go on to win that year's Royal Rumble match, and even though she wasn't successful at WrestleMania, she would win the SmackDown Women's Championship at Backlash. Next at number 9, we go to 2010 with the Elimination Chamber match with Raw. This featured John Cena, Triple H, Ted DiBiase, I believe Kofi Kingston, and of course, St. Louis's own Randy Orton. Also, how can we forget then WWE Champion, who had a great match with Pete Dunne this past Monday, Sheamus, who was the WWE Champion at the time. And Sheamus was defending the championship against all 5 guys. Obviously, Randy Orton was one of the favorites, even though he was a bit in between heel and face at the time. But the crowd loved him because obviously it's St. Louis. And thanks to Ted DiBiase Jr., Randy Orton was eliminated. And eventually it came down to John Cena and Triple H, who would tap out to John Cena's STF. And unfortunately for Cena, the celebration didn't last long because Batista came in. Next at number 7, we have the final boss, The Rock, versus Mankind at Survivor Series 1998 in the Deadly Game Finals for the WWE Championship that was vacant. At the time, the WWF Championship. It was a good match, and it was a great main event, in my personal opinion. At the time, Mankind was set to be the heel, and The Rock was set to be the fan favorite. And The Rock had already survived The Undertaker by disqualification due to Kane's interference and other things. Mankind came in. They had an amazing match together. But in the end, much like the previous year, there was a, quote, cheat job because Vince McMahon, before we found out he was a pervert, would screw Mankind over using the sharpshooter, and The Rock would be the WWE champion. And Jim Ross's commentary said it all. They were in on it all along. They screwed us all. Vince and his sneaky master plans. Next on this list at number 6, we have the Royal Rumble from 2012. This involved, of course, Randy Orton was in the match, of course, being from St. Louis, getting an amazing ovation. Kofi Kingston made a highlight, as he does every single year. I think, was it 2011 or 2012? I think one of those years, Kofi Kingston did a handstand. But not only that, we saw the Big Show come in last as a final chance, despite failing the steel cage match. And we saw the eventual winner, Sheamus, eliminate Chris Jericho. Sad part about it is Randy Orton never won a Royal Rumble in his hometown. So, congratulations again, Sheamus. Next on this list, we have at number 5, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H in a steel cage match at Extreme Rules 2013 at the main event. This was a rematch from WrestleMania, but it was also a rubber match, considering that Brock Lesnar won at SummerSlam 2012, Triple H won at WrestleMania 29, 2013, and at the next pay-per-view, we would have a rubber match. Triple H had a gray sledgehammer, but that wasn't enough to keep the beast down. Because with help from the wise man, before he was the wise man, and now Hall of Famer Paul Heyman, with his help, Brock Lesnar was able to F5 Triple H on one good leg, by the way, to win the match and settle the rivalry. And some might say he showed Triple H some respect by giving him the sledgehammer at the end of the match. At number 4, we have the men's Money in the Bank match from 2017. This match featured Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Sami Zayn, and now once again heel Kevin Owens. Of course, this match started with Baron Corbin ambushing Shinsuke Nakamura and beating him to a place where he had to be sent to the back. The match continued with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, then heel and returned heel. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would fight off. They were huge rivals at the time, and they would fight in the match. Then we would see some incredible highlights. We would even see Shinsuke and AJ Styles mix it up, teasing us before WrestleMania 34. Eventually, Shinsuke Nakamura would return to the match to fight. Of course, that was before AJ and Shinsuke mixed it up. But as they fought on top of the ladder, Baron Corbin came in and pushed everyone off and would eventually win the match. However, Baron Corbin didn't make good use of the briefcase because thanks to John Cena, he was unable to successfully cash in. Next on this list, we go back to the final boss, The Rock, facing off against the teacher of the learning tree, Chris Jericho, in a match at No Mercy 2001. First of all, Click Click Boom was an awesome theme by Saliva to have on the event. But this was a match built as a match to see if Chris Jericho could win the big one. The Rock was the WCW World Heavyweight Champion, which was originally that championship right there. The Rock was the original holder of that belt. He had took it off Booker T, and now it was time for Chris Jericho to find out if he could win one of the main event championships due to the fact that he had only been European and Intercontinental Champion. Now, this was a pretty good match. We saw interference from Stephanie McMahon. Why was Stephanie in this match? I have no idea. but it actually served well as The Rock got distracted by dealing with her. Chris Jericho would come in and take out The Rock and win the match and actually win the WCW World Championship. However, it was short lived because The Rock would win it back. But nonetheless, it was still a great match for Chris Jericho to win and win the WCW World Championship. He never had a chance to win it when he was in WCW. So good for him. And now he is the most disingenuous guy on AEW. Hi, everybody. Next on this list, at number 2, we go back to the Survivor Series, but this time it is Survivor Series 2014 for Power. This was when the Authority was getting on everyone's nerves, and Triple H assembled a team. This team had Mark Henry. This team had Rusev, Luke Harper, God rest his soul, of course, Seth freaking Rollins, and Kane. The other side would have Big Show, Ryback, Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and the team leader, John Cena. Of course, they started well with Mark Henry getting knocked out by the Big Show, but then eventually the odds would go against Team Cena as Big Show turned on Cena and shook hands with Triple H, leaving John Cena to be eliminated and Dolph Ziggler to fight off all the odds. And he did, because at the last minute, after getting 2 miraculous eliminations, we thought Triple H, after pedigreeing Dolph Ziggler, was about to stay in Power. But we got a surprise entry and a surprise appearance from the Icon, Sting. I don't know how that place didn't completely blow off, but nonetheless, it still got a halfway good pop as Sting made an appearance, death dropped Triple H, and then reversed the pin for Dolph to pin Seth Rollins and be the sole survivor for his team. Thus, the Authority was out of Power. Sad thing about it was Sting never got to face The Undertaker, and Sting is 1-2 in WWE. That absolutely sucked. But next on this list, we go to number 1 with the man that we never got to see Sting face. At number 1, we have The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at Bad Blood 1997. Now, as I said in my top 10 Hell in a Cell reviews, this was the first match. Shawn took the beating of a lifetime like he owed Undertaker money. But not to mention, he got thrown face first through the cell on the outside, fell off halfway off the top of the cell, not completely, but fell halfway off the cell on the outside, was dragged to the ring to be hit with the chair, which started it all in the first place. But what made this match extra special was near the end. Excuse me. And at the end, Kane made his first appearance, and Vince McMahon shouted, "That's gotta be Kane." And that became one of the most famous memories of Kane making his debut, tombstoning The Undertaker, and then Shawn Michaels taking advantage, going for the pin, and miraculously escaping the show. But as Vince noted, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Vince, but Vince said, no, Kane defeated The Undertaker as far as we're all concerned. But that Hell in a Cell match was legendary, and it took place in St. Louis, Missouri. So what is your favorite St. Louis match? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling, and I will see you guys next time.